Hey there, and welcome to Hope Unscripted, a podcast of Hope Cancer Resources.
Here, we're having real conversations about cancer, from prevention and education to support, resources, and the stories that remind us that we are not alone.
And we're your host. I'm Jamie Dietrich.
And I'm Brittany Harmon, and we're so glad you're here.
Now let's talk about hope, healing, and the journey.
Unscripted.
Welcome back to Hope Unscripted. We are back again. I'm Jamie Dietrich, your co-host, alongside the fabulous Brittany Harmon.
Hi, guys.
We are here during National Cancer Survivor Month, and we are pumped to introduce our guest today. So I'm going to turn it over to Brittany for just a moment to introduce her.
We're so excited about today's conversation because we have our amazing Nicole Foote, who is not only a cancer survivor, but a huge advocate for Hope Cancer Resources and a board member now. She served on a committee, and now she's on our board, and she spreads so much awareness about hope that we cannot appreciate any more than we do. I think we probably could, but... So, Nicole, let's kind of get started.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you just as a person at
Okay.
first. Tell us your story.
As a person.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was born and raised in North Carolina.
Okay.
I went to college at Appalachian State University. I believe that the Carolinas are the most beautiful states that exist. So happy to challenge that with anyone in the state of Arkansas, right?
Might be a challenge with those.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. But until you've lived in the Carolinas, you don't really appreciate it. I met my husband, Brett, about 20 years ago. And we've been together ever since. We've moved 6 times with Kellogg's or Kellanova. Now that's owned by Mars, that Mars snack, or Mars, I should say. And we've been here in the Northwest Arkansas market for 8 years. It's the longest outside of living in South Carolina that we've ever been in one spot.
I was going to say, I hear a lot of people in that vendor world that do have to move a lot. It's usually like 2 to 5 years max.
Yep.
So that 8 years is long.
Yeah. So we've done 2 to 3.5 in the other places. And we didn't move here thinking we were going to be here for 8 years. But we've kind of fallen in love with the community, the people, the area. I've got a really great team, a great role at Kellanova Mars. I lead the Sam's team for them now. And we love it. I've been with Kellogg's, Kellanova Mars for almost 20 years in April. So no kids. I am a huge sneakerhead. Excited to show you guys my new sneaker wall that Brett's helping me build.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. We've got 3 dogs that outweigh us and keep us very busy. All our rescues, I'm a huge animal person. Yeah, can't go wrong with any type of animal. I'm really big into CrossFit. Love working out. Traveling, friends. My mom is my best friend. That's probably important to say. Yeah. I've got a nephew, a sister, my dad. Really great family. Really, really fortunate.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned CrossFit.
I did.
So I'm a little bit of a health nut myself and love exercising and working out. But with thinking back, like your cancer diagnosis and all the things that you've been through, which we'll get into in a minute, was physical fitness and everything always part of your life, or was that something you adopted? Or?
No, it's always. So Brett and I started going to a version of CrossFit when we lived in Florida. So 15-ish years ago.
Okay.
And then as we kind of moved around, we stuck with it. What we found was the fitness part is one part of it, but the community is the second, right? Okay. And so we've made some lifetime friends, people from all the gyms we've ever kind of been members of. We still are pretty close with a lot of them. Awesome. And then through my journey, it was more important than ever. It was the thing that made me get up every morning. I remember I did my chemo treatments on Mondays. And so that Tuesday morning getting up was always really, really hard. And it got harder the deeper I got into my chemo treatments. But there was always a group of people there. And even if I just went and twirled around for 60 minutes or sat on a box. And so now that's made me want to invest more in that community, right? Like be a greater symbol within what you can do and what you can get from it.
Yeah.
I'm not good at it at all. Let's be clear.
I'll argue that.
You're better than me.
I had the pleasure of working out with Nicole and Brett back in, I guess it was October
of
Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yep.
And I mean, I thought I was pretty fit, but y'all do some intense stuff.
There is some intense stuff.
Yeah,
that is true.
I've heard that too with other CrossFit, it's a family. Like
Yeah,
I've got a
is.
good friend who she coaches in one of those gyms, and she'll talk about it all the time. And they do stuff outside of that too. Like they do really get tight knit. So that's a great extra support I feel like people can have. So
100%.
yeah. So let's talk about your diagnosis.
Ooh.
So I know that's what let's start from the beginning. So how old are you?
Oh, it was 2020. So what's the math?
Oh, so
I was born in 83. So
6
years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was less than 40. So
Yeah.
I was 36, 37-ish.
And did you have any kind of inkling when you went into that appointment that day?
No. So I actually, I tell this story a lot now because I think it's really important for males and females that are like really on this massive career journey. I found a lump in October and I just said, it's just a cyst. Like I have nothing to worry about. I am busy with work. Things like life is crazy. I've got my normal like annual appointments in November. I'll deal with it then. And so I went in November. I always do it the week of Thanksgiving. It's the only way I can kind of remember, like, these are the doctor's appointments. They need to be checked off the list for the year. And the doctor felt it. She was like, oh, I remember her words. She was like, oh, you're too young. Like, you're healthy. Like, this is nothing, but we'll just go over to the breast center and get it checked out. And so I went that same day because the breast center is so amazing. It, like the accommodations that they do there is just best in class. And they did the mammogram and then they were like, let's do a biopsy. And in that biopsy moment, you could read their faces of like, they're not seeing what they want to see. And so they was like, hey, we're going to send this to the doctor. We're going to do some scans or some tests. And then they called me later that day. They called me the next day. It was the day before Thanksgiving, 2020. They called and said, you've got breast cancer. And I won't lie, it floored me pretty significantly. Yeah. I went upstairs. I talked to Brett and he was like, what? Like he thought I was punking him.
Yeah.
Like,
there's no way.
This is no way. And then I called my dad because my dad's always been my rock. He's been the one that when I need to cry it out and not have anyone judge me or question it or just get it out. And I called him. And then we decided, you know what, we're just going to hold this for a while. And we're just going to tell some close friends. I'm really fortunate with some amazing friends throughout my entire life. And so we called those that we were closest to. We told them. And then in the next couple of weeks, we started the plan. Christmas is my most favorite holiday. And so I was determined we're doing nothing that's going to ruin my Christmas. I'm going home to North Carolina and I'm going to spend my 3 weeks there like I do every single year at my mom's. And I'm just going to be in the moment. And it was probably the first time in my entire life and career that I was truly in the moment. Like there was nothing else. Emails, work, tech, like none of that mattered. It's almost like the world around me stopped while I enjoyed those 3 weeks because good, bad, or indifferent, what goes through your mind in those days is never positive. It's never like, oh, I'm going to beat this or this is fine. Yeah. Like, it was never none of that. I was also really fortunate enough to have a phenomenal oncologist over at Highlands, who gave me her cell phone number and was like, when you have questions, you call, you text. And I did that a few times just because when you're in those appointments, you don't think. Right? Like you really don't think. So she was really amazing. So I was diagnosed with HER2 positive breast cancer, which essentially means my cancer was feeding off my estrogen. So my body was producing vital portions to help the cancer grow. So we didn't have the benefit of waiting 6 months. Like it was one of those things we had to get started. So I think it was the Monday after New Year's, we came back to town and that's when I started my treatment over at Highlands. And it was really, the first treatment was, it was a very memorable, but also very impactful moment for me. If you remember, there was a little thing called COVID. So Brett couldn't go with me.
I was going to say,
it was
during
just
that time, that's terrifying.
Yeah. So it was me. I went with my bag. I packed all my snacks. I had my laptop. I had like, you name it. And it was in this bag. And 6 hours later, he picked me up from my first treatment.
6 hours.
Yeah. So because of the aggressiveness of my HER2, they wanted to be equally aggressive with the chemo treatment. Yeah. So I had six rounds of chemo every 3 weeks, and it was 6 hours in the chair.
Oh my goodness.
So I got to know the people around me. I got to know the amazing staff at Highlands. And the first treatment was the moment that made me realize that I wanted to be very vocal about my story. Which everyone has their own right? Yeah. But I sat in that chair alone and talked to people beside me that also didn't have a support system there. Yeah. And also I looked around and was like, oh my God, I'm like 20 years younger than everyone else sitting around me. And I know that's a horrible thing to think, but in the moment, those are the things you think. And so when I left that day, I said to Brett, I'm like, okay, we're going to tell a story. We're going to tell the good, the bad, the ugly, and we're going to battle through it with everyone in the hopes that we help one person.
Yeah.
I just need one person to tell me they're going to get their mammogram. And then I made a difference in their life because of my story.
Yeah. Yeah. I did not realize the beginning of your story was that you had found a lump and then waited.
I did.
And I think that's such an important takeaway today, you know, as we're talking about National Cancer Survivor Month and like being proactive and on the front end. Do you know, like that month that you waited, was there any implications? Was there any?
I intentionally never asked those questions because I didn't want to know. I did, and I still don't. I don't want to know if I made a decision that could have caused my journey to be what it was.
Yeah.
I choose to think that it wouldn't have mattered.
I feel like I chose that same decision. Like at the end of the day, it was there.
Yeah.
Right. And so you're going to have to go through that journey either way. I wouldn't want to know if the what if behind that. So I can understand that too.
For sure.
I bring that up because I think, you know, about me personally, on things that are health related, I'm a procrastinator.
Yeah. We all
now work. I'm on it. Like work is done and it's done ahead of time. You know, things at home, it's done ahead of time. But why do we procrastinate our health?
I think it comes down to time. I really do. You know, at least for me, it was time. Like, it's 2 hours, 90 minutes to 2 hours out of your day to go to the doctor. And you got to have your insurance card. You got to have your driver's license. You got to fill out all this paperwork. You got to do all this stuff.
And then who wants to sit in a doctor's office for a whole day when you can go sit somewhere else?
Yeah, exactly. Who wants to sit in the doctor's office and who wants to get all this blood work and all these things? What I will tell you after 3 years of having to go every month and get a shot in my belly is I would give anything in the world to go back and take those 90 minutes to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
So now what I tell my team, what I tell my friends is go.
Yeah.
Trust me that 90 minutes or, 2 hours, whatever it might be for you it's way more in the moment than you even realize.
Yeah.
Because we had to control my body's production of estrogen. And so every month I had to go get a pellet, and that pellet went in the belly. Oof. And I don't know if you've ever got a shot in the belly.
I have seen those
with a needle that's about this big.
And they're like that big around.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. So real quick, you learn that 90 minutes wasn't so bad.
Wow. So now speaking of that, is there still a journey for you going on currently where you have to control that estrogen?
So no.
Okay.
I made the hard, actually it wasn't hard. I'm not going to say it was hard.
Yeah.
Brett and I made the decision last January or February, that we were going to have my ovaries removed. Yeah. So by having my ovaries removed, that stops the production of estrogen. And more importantly, it stops the monthly belly shots.
Yeah.
So I had that taken care of, actually a year ago today, or within this time frame.
Yeah.
Cause I wasn't able to do MIRF. I had it done and I took 3 weeks, breasted, recovered, and that stopped it. So I was able to get off the pill that I was having to take and the belly shot. So that entire chapter of my life is closed.
Yeah.
Completely.
And now you're on this journey of not just being an advocate for us, but for all kinds of other nonprofits as well. I see you in the community out there. I see you in the Cityscapes magazines and all the things. So I appreciate you just taking your story and expanding it to this and letting it make an impact on all these people. So what brought you to Hope?
What brought me to Hope? So it was, call it 2 years ago, maybe. Mm-hmm. I went to the Cancer Challenge kickoff breakfast, and I had always kind of went and supported, but never supported as a survivor or an advocate, or I guess advocate, but nothing more. And I saw Jamie and Chuck, and as I listened to the speakers, I just kind of sat there and I was like, what am I doing? Like, I do all this stuff in the community and I love it.
Yeah.
But the one space where I've been personally impacted, where I can sit and tell my story and help make a difference or help put something different in the closet that a patient might need that we're not thinking of. What am I doing? And it started out, I reached out to Jamie and said, hey, let's just have a conversation. Like, I got a lot going on. I don't know that I can fully give what you might need, but I want to give something. And so, Chuck got a little giddy, got a little excited. And so I supported the development committee for a year. And then Chuck called me and said, hey, why don't you join the board? Why don't we get you in a role where you can really help to make a difference and be an even bigger advocate of hope? Because if I think back to my journey, transparently, I met with the Hope advisors at Highlands because everyone does.
Yeah.
But it was such a whirlwind for me of like everything that was going on. In my mind, I genuinely thought it was just financial services.
Yeah.
And Brett and I, we've worked really hard over the years, and that wasn't something in my mind that I needed. There were people out there that needed it more. Yeah. Looking back now, I would have absolutely had Bobby come pick me up and take me to my appointments at Highlands. Just because it was a moment of someone who was there to care. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
It wasn't someone that was there to judge how you look when you get in the van or how you feel or what your day's going on. It's truly just someone that's there to care and help. And looking back now, I kind of, every time I go over to Highlands or hear someone's at Highlands or they're starting their journey, I'm like, look, listen to what they have. You can go down to the wellness center. You can go be part of a small group, right? There's just so many services. And I didn't use any of them because I just immediately said, I don't need the financial help. Other people do. So I'm going to make sure that's there for them.
Yeah. And we hear that sometimes too. Mm-hmm. And so our social workers are really good about following up and making sure people do have that full scope. But in that moment, when you first meet with them, and that is the thing.
Yeah.
You're just, who are you? What were you doing here? Yeah. So I can see how that would reflect.
Well, there's just so much going through your head, right? Like, okay, part of it is, okay, now I have to clear my calendar. I have to figure out how to be here every 6 hours for every 3 weeks. And then I have to go through radiation, and then I have to have surgery, and then I have to come and have a monthly shot. And so like your head is just absolutely spiraling. And, part of the spiral that a lot of people choose not to talk about is, am I going to make it to the other side? Right. Like, and that was part for me. Like I had to sit down with my parents and Brett and just have a really hard conversation of if this doesn't go as we hope, here are my wishes. And that's something you don't want to ever do. But in that moment, like those are the things that are running through your mind of, I don't know if I'm going to make it to the next Christmas, which is why that previous Christmas was so important to me.
Yeah. Sure.
So it was 2 years ago, and it was at the Botanical Gardens, their Chefs in the Garden event. And I had ran into you.
Okay, yeah.
And that was the moment and we chatted for a minute, and I had been waiting ever since that moment because we met each other when I first moved here, 4 years ago. And I kind of planted a seed that day a little bit, and I waited and I'm like, one day she's going to come to me.
Yeah.
And so that morning at Cancer Challenge, like I remember because I told Chuck, I'm like, we got her. She's the one. She's in. And I was so pumped and just so grateful for all you do for us and to have you part of our community, have you here on the podcast as well. I want to shift our gears a little bit and just really focus on like your treatments are over. Like you said a minute ago, like that part's behind me.
Yeah.
So tell us about survivorship. Like you I'm assuming got to ring the bell.
I
walked out the door.
I ring the bell every time they would let me. I was like, look,
we're
just gonna celebrate. And we took pictures, and I've got pictures of every milestone through the journey. Like my last radiation treatment, the ladies were kind enough. We took a selfie while I was laying there on the radiation thing, and I've got a picture right before I went in for my lobectomy. I was like, we are taking pictures of all of this. Survivorship for me today looks probably a little different than others. Yeah. A large part of it for me is being an advocate to help others. Yeah. There is nothing that makes me smile and be proud of my journey than when someone texts me and says, I went and got my mammogram today. I've never got a mammogram, but because of you and your vulnerability and your story, I went and got my mammogram today. Or when a guy comes up and he's like, going to get my colonoscopy, but it's because of you, right? Like, I totally get that's not sexy at all. But for me,
but it's important.
But it is important, right? Or when someone says, hey, I'm going to the dermatologist because I need to get my skin checked. And so a large chunk of my survivorship and my joy comes from those moments. And anyone that's listening today, I can guarantee you has at some point in time texted me about a mammogram or a colonoscopy or any of that. Or even when people reach out and say, look, my friend's going through this. What do they need? Because everyone wants to help. And what people don't realize is what help actually looks like, right? Like, I think it's amazing to send flowers and balloons and cookies and all those things. But I was fortunate enough to have a group of people that sent me things that made me belly laugh. My friends in Philly sent me a box of bacon because I am a huge bacon fan. And I got enough bacon for a year. And it was like, yes. So being able to like share those things back with others now that I'm on the other side means a ton to me. It also, focusing on my health and making sure that I am living the life that I am preaching to others is important for me. So not kicking a doctor's appointment because my calendar is really busy, and not just saying I'll get to it when I can. And also just taking moments to rest, because one of the things most people that haven't been through chemo don't get is it takes decades for your body to flush through all that. And so my heart rate averages 180 to 185 when I'm working out. So I have to be very conscious of slowing down, resting when I need it, not overexerting myself. And even, with all the travel that I do, just making sure that I take that time to be present for me as much as I am for everyone else.
So what are some things that you do to unwind? And because you're active, like you go. Yeah. I know this.
I do.
So like, what do you do? And what do you suggest to others that are kind of similar to you of that go mentality? How do you just bring it down for a little bit?
Foote, Brett, I call him Foote. He plays a large role in that. I am not very good at always recognizing when I need to take a minute, when I need to take a beat, when I need to take a pause. He is really good at recognizing that. And so when he will say, calendar's free and we're not putting anything on it, we stay home. And we don't just, it's not like we just stay home and watch TV. Like, we sit outside on the patio. Those are the things that have helped me a lot. Focusing on, I go get a massage every month because it's my 60 minutes. Going to the gym every morning. Those are my 60 minutes that no one can take from me.
Yeah, I love.
I love watching trash TV. I will spend. I will get up at 5:00 on a Saturday morning, and I will spend 4 hours deep on trash TV, and then I got to go to TikTok and Instagram and find out what's going on. So for me, it's finding those things and those people. Like, I've got a phenomenal group of girlfriends, not only here in Northwest Arkansas but outside. And when we're out and they see it, like, they don't make it a thing, right? So when I sit down and everyone's standing, a lot of times what I'll see is they'll come sit with me because they know she needs a minute.
It's her minute.
She's taking her minute, and she just needs us to not drill that in. Yeah. Even at work, at a lot of conventions and stuff, the first few years were really hard. I got so tired. It's like, what is happening? Like, I can't stay out till midnight or 1 o'clock with you guys. Like, I'm so tired. And so people would sit with me. And those were the things for me, even today, that have helped me slow down, relax, and find my center again.
We have heard some other people, even after they ring the bell, you're in survivorship, you're in that mode, but they still feel that weird, isolated, lonely feeling because you were this person. Well, now you're transitioning to this person and people don't know what to do with you.
People don't. Yeah. And the part of that for me that was probably the hardest was I am such an extrovert. Like, I want to talk to everyone, and I want to make you feel special, and I want to make you feel supported, and I want to be there. I have a really hard time with the word no. Yeah. Right. So for me, having that community that picked up on it, that recognized, when I was going through my chemo treatments, some of my very best friends would just come sit with me at home. And like, it filled my cup more than they probably know, because I wanted to be out. I wanted to be doing things, but my body I needed the rest. Yeah. And so we had a lot of really great nights sitting on the couch playing Drawful or Uno, or now we're playing some Flip 7 game that my girlfriend's kids brought over. So those are just the little things.
Yeah. And that's really just amazing to have that extra support. Because like I said, when we hear people talk about that transition afterwards, a lot of people don't have that support necessarily. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we have in survivorship right now, and several people in counseling still in survivorship trying to learn how to restart your new life, basically.
Yeah.
And so that's really great that you have all that.
Yeah. We've heard a lot of people say, I'm not the same person that I was before I started this journey.
Mm-hmm. I would say, yes, I'm not.
Speak into that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it changes your perspective on life. Yeah. And it changes your perspective on little things. Like I lost my hair after my first chemo treatment. Brett actually shaved my head. It was horrible, guys. I will have to find the picture. Like, he missed this entire strip because I started crying, like, and like, you're bald, you shave your head every day. But that changed how I feel about myself, because it was really hard. And I know that something like hair seems like such a self-centered thing, but it's part of your identity.
It is.
And so it took me a really long time to get comfortable with that. It took me a long time to get comfortable in hats. And now it's how my hair looks is probably the last thing I think about on a daily basis. Because it's perspective of what I've come through. The other part is, I am in the moment a lot more than I ever was. And it's because I went through a phase where I didn't know if there was going to be a moment. And so I've found that out about myself. I've found out that I'm stronger than I ever thought I was. And I've got tenacity and grit in ways that I never did. I used to suffer from imposter syndrome a little, where, it's like, oh my God, I'm on this board, but like, should I be here? Like, I'm just a simple Southern girl, like, who's worked really hard. And now, yeah, I can sit at that table with you because I can do the hard things. Yeah. And so there's a lot of those pieces that have really helped me. And I find that what fills my cup more than ever is giving back and being there for other people, and being there when they don't know that they need it is probably more impactful than anything in the world for me right now.
Your passion for that, I just aspire to it. I really do. Yeah. Because seeing you out, like I said, in the community, when you come to Hope, you bring buttloads of snacks for us and our patients, and we all appreciate it. We're out of Rice Krispie treats, by the way. I'm just going to drop that hint right now.
way to plug their Rice Krispie treats. We'll see if we can fix that.
But your passion is just admirable. Thank you.
Well, we're getting to the end of our episode, and I'd like to give you the opportunity, if there's any words of encouragement during National Cancer Survivors Month that you'd like to share with our listeners to that.
Yeah, I would probably just say you're not in it alone. And while it absolutely feels like that as you start it, you're not in it alone, and it doesn't have to define you, right? Like, I felt like it was going to define who I was for my future. I thought it was going to slow down my career. I thought my personal life was going to really take a step back. None of that happened, because you get to make the choice of where it fits within your life. And where it's fit in for me is being an advocate and being open and telling my story. I spent last October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, telling the ugly side of cancer, because nobody talks about that. No one tells you the ugly side effects. And for me, it was like, you know what? You've all seen the chemo, the radiation, the surgery. So feeling comfortable to talk about the ugly sides of it, because I could guarantee you that a person sitting beside you has also dealt with all those ugly sides.
Yeah.
So I think those are the big parts for me.
Yeah.
That I think, if you're on wherever you are on your journey, that you should really try to hone in on to help.
That's incredible. Yep. So, well, we are at the end of our episode. We appreciate everyone listening. If anybody felt inspired today, we'd love for you to share your story with us also. Thank you so much, Nicole, for sharing all of that. It's a lot to share, and I know it's heavy, but we appreciate it more than you know.
I appreciate you guys. You guys are doing great work.
Well, truly grateful for you. And for all of you, thank you for listening in. And we hope you take something away from this episode and that you'll join us for the next Hope Unscripted podcast, because we'll be back.
Let's remember to buy our Pringles and Rice Krispies at Sam's Club.
And
for Nicole. And Cheez-Its.
And Eggos.
And Eggos. Everything at Sam's Club.
Everything at Sam's Club.
Buy it at Sam's. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for listening to Hope Unscripted.
Join us next time as we share real stories, meaningful resources, and reminders that you're not alone. Until then, keep choosing hope.